Hello everyone. Welcome back to another Commander review for Magic the Gathering. Today we're talking about Kuon Ogre Ascendant. So I don't remember how many of these we've talked about so far, but this is part of the legendary flip cycle of commanders, where when you meet a certain requirement for them, instead of transforming them onto their backside, they have the flip mechanic, which is you simply rotate it upside down in a 180 degree rotation, if that makes sense. And you can see on the card here, it's very clear that you rotate this card 180 degrees and you get the other half. Now, I also am just noticing that I did not take a snippet of Kuon's essence to flip it right side up. So I apologize for that, but I'll still read it for you guys, or you can pause and read it upside down if you want. But this is Kuon Ogre Ascendant, the mono black flip commander. It is a legendary ogre monk. It has a power and toughness of 2/4, and it has a mana value of 3 black mana. And then it has this triggered ability. At the end, and I'm going to read the errata text, at the beginning of the end step, so it can be on yours or in another player's, if 3 or more creatures died this turn, flip Kuon. Once you flip Kuon, it becomes a legendary enchantment called Kuon's Essence. Kuon's Essence has a triggered ability. At the beginning of each player's upkeep, including yours, that player sacrifices a creature of their choice. So this is a mono black Edict commander, and one of the things I love most about this commander in particular is the downsides you have with a lot of mono black Edict commanders is at some point you may have to, like if the odds are not in your favor and people are shutting down your engines and all that stuff, or they're killing all of your sack fodder, you may eventually have to sacrifice the Edict commander to pay the cost of sacrificing a creature, which is not good. You don't want that. The cool thing about Kuon is once it becomes an enchantment that's forcing everyone to sacrifice, you can't sacrifice Kuon's Essence because it's not a creature anymore, it's an enchantment. So it is safe from its own Edict effect, which is really cool. There are no card rulings for this commander. Just remember that flipping the card is slightly different than transforming the card. Run a lot of Edicts in this deck. You want to trigger that ability as fast as possible. In a 4-player game, that should be fairly easy to do if you're forcing everyone to sacrifice. So, run a lot of these and you'll flip Kuon very quickly. Speaking of Edicts, this is a popular deck idea on EDH Rec. You want to force everyone, including yourself, it doesn't matter, to sacrifice cards, and then you want to take advantage of when those creatures die or are sacrificed. A great card like this is Black Market, one of my favorites in an Aristocrat deck, in an Edict deck, because it ramps you so much mana. And then, a slight twist on this, I thought this would be fun as a modular commander. So it's an artifact Aristocrat deck where you want to be sacrificing your modular artifacts to then move those tokens around, and then you want to reanimate those artifacts back onto the battlefield so you can get more +1/+1 counters on creatures that you control, and just build this crazy sacrifice engine where you build an army or a souped up modular creature and take out your opponents, since you're going to be getting rid of all their blockers anyway. So really interesting idea. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts on a modular Edict themed deck. Excuse me. And that is going to do it for Kuon Ogre Ascendant. Really cool card. Of the flip commanders, this is the one that I've actually had the longest, and I've played with this in both 60 card games and Commander, and it is very powerful, almost to the point where it can be pretty oppressive if you're building an Aristocrat deck with it, like a traditional Aristocrats. So be prepared to be archenemy with this commander, because you will, I would say 9 times out of 10, if you're building a successful Edict engine, you will be archenemy very quickly with this commander. Because of that, it is very popular. The fact that it can protect itself from its own Edict ability makes it a very popular deck to build around, and there's a lot of different deck ideas you can build around with this commander which is why it has the rank of S. Really cool stuff. I'd love to hear your guys' comments about this commander. If there's anything I missed or I did not talk about, let me know in the comments section down below. I'd love to read and hopefully respond to your guys' comments. So thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you guys so much for all your support. And as always, I'll see you in the next one. Bye!